have Raul go over the bonesetter app once again. So at this,
Hope you can all hear me. We're going to do a little review again of the bonesetter for the exercise today. So I'm just going to show you how to get there again. So you're going to go to learn.detroitbonesetter.com, put that in. This is what's going to come up. And if you want feedback, today I'm going to tell you, put your email address as your name. So, whatever xyz@gmail.com, and then we can send you some feedback. It will try. There's an awful lot of people doing the exercises, but if we can, we will at least get some way to contact you. And the lesson code today is BC case. And BC is Brett Christ. It's Brett Christ's case, and we're going to pull it up. And this is what you should see. So what I want you to do is I want you to make your screen in half. So as I showed you before, I want you to open the case on one side, and I'd like you to have me on the other side on your Zoom. And you can see that by doing basically making your screen half, come over like this, and putting the Zoom on one side. So I'm just going to give you a sec to do that. And if you've had some trouble, just please text in and we'll stop. I don't want to start up without you all on. So is there any messages, Mike, that they're not on? No?
Some questions have about the code. So I think that it's just that it's BC case.
It's BC case. Okay. Do you guys think it's right? It's okay to start, Brett?
yeah.
Okay. So let's go over a couple of things that we talked about last time, and one of them was the X-ray. So if you click on the X-ray, you can move it around. I want you to lock it. So once we lock it, it's not going to remove. And then if you come up here to the left, we have items and we have X-rays. There's only one X-ray, and if you click on the X-ray a couple of times, it's going to center you in the middle. So here we have the X-ray that we're going to work with today, and this is a 25-year-old active military male who was status post CRPP of a fairly vertical femoral neck fracture, as you can see, which has failed. He presented to Brett's clinic with pain in his right hip. The X-rays showed a varus deformity, a non-union on CT, and there was no angular or sagittal deformity. So let's review how we're going to measure this deformity. Well, we don't have the full length views. We just have this today. We're going to make this a little bit smaller, and we're going to go over a few things. The first thing is I talked about last week about the mechanical angles, and we don't have the long leg view. So this is all going to be anatomic axes that we're going to do. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to measure the neck shaft angle on the left side, the normal side, and then we're going to measure it on the right side. So what I want you to do is I want you to make this a little bit bigger and just bring that up into the middle. Is there still some questions about it, Brett, or are we okay?
Still code questions. I'm typing it in.
Okay. I'm going to give you guys a sec because I want you all to be here. So again, we're going to do the anatomic axis, and we're going to do the neck shaft angle. And what I want you to do is I want you to go to hip center, like I showed you before, and put a hip center in to the middle of the head. And I can make this a little bit smaller or bigger, but I want it to fit. And then the second thing I'm going to do is lock it. So come up here to the right and then lock it. So you've got this hip center that's in the middle of the head. So you got a point that's in the middle of the head. It's very important. The second thing I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to do hip center again, and I'm going to ask you to put it in the neck. So here we now have a point in the middle of the neck, and I'm going to lock that. And now I'm going to do an anatomic neck shaft angle. I'm going to go to the left and get angle, and I'm going to draw a line from the middle of this hip center to the middle of the neck, and I'm going to bring it out the side, and then I'm going to draw another line down the anatomic axis of the femur. Now, if I had a full-length femur, I would use the middle of the femoral shaft, and again, a way to do that, to find the middle, is to make a hip center, go from edge to edge, and that gives you the middle. So let's get rid of that. So if you go to items, the neck shaft angle on this side comes up at about 130 degrees. There's an alternative way to do this. I'm going to show you on one side, and that's by, again, push angle, go from the center of the hip to the greater trochanter, and then use that to go down the anatomic shaft. And that's a different angle, and that's the proximal medial femoral, anatomic medial proximal femoral angle. We're not going to use that today. We're going to use the neck shaft angle, and that's going to come up here. So I'm going to eliminate this one. Just wanted to show you that. Once we've done that, we're going to go do it on the broken side. So we're going to shift over. And again, we're going to do a hip center. And we're going to put the hip center right in the middle of the femoral head. I'm going to lock that in. Remember, the lock is up on the right side. I'm going to put another hip center in the neck. And this side, I'm going to put it on the broken side of the neck. So right about there, a little bit smaller. And so now I have 2 points I can draw my line at. Lock that. Let's go to angle. And I'm going to go from the center to the center and over here. And I'm going to do another one down the shaft. And what we've got there is about 70 degrees or on that side. And we're going to keep that over here. That's acute angle. So sorry, about 107, 110 degrees and 130 on the other side. And so that's about a 23, 24 degree neck shaft angle. The second thing we're going to do, so we've done that, we've compared the right to the left side. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a Powell's angle. And to make this a little bit easier, I'm going to hide all these lines so that I can clear up my screen, and then I'm going to center again. To do the Powell's angle, we're going to assume that this is a flat X-ray or a standing X-ray. We're going to do an angle, one that's flat across, parallel to the ground, and a second one where the fracture is. And that's going to give you an angle of about 65 degrees. So we've realized that we've got about a 25 degree difference in the neck shaft angle. We've got a 65 degree Powell's angle. And the last thing we're going to do is a leg length. So we're going to do the leg length discrepancy like we do when we're measuring a total hip. We're going to take a line and we're going to draw it across the ischial tuberosities like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look and see where the line crosses the normal side of the lesser trochanter, and I'm going to draw a second line from about the same spot on the lesser trochanter down to this line. And it's about a 2.5 centimeter leg length discrepancy. So in summary, and you guys can practice this a little bit while I write this down, I have a neck shaft angle difference of about 25 degrees. I have a Powell's angle of 65 degrees, and I have a leg length discrepancy of about 2.5 centimeters. This is all done in the coronal plane. Remember, as I said, we said there was no rotational or sagittal plane deformity. And this gives us an idea of the problem. So we have a 25-year-old male with a varus non-union of his femoral neck, retained hardware, and 30-degree neck shaft angle, 60 difference, 25 to 30-degree neck shaft angle difference, a 65-degree Powell's angle, and a leg length discrepancy of about 2.5 centimeters. So I'm going to stop there.